Well, welcome again to Redeemer News, and this is the beginning of Advent. And before we get into that, I'd like to just make one announcement. So, those of you who are listening, watching, you'll know that there's going to be something different about the service that's coming up on Sunday, and that is our own Tom Miller will be preaching the sermon. And the reason for that is not because I'm going to be gone, because you'll see me up there doing the liturgy and the rest of the service. But Tom is an SMP candidate, and one of the things that they've asked him to do is have some recent recordings of his sermons. That is, not only writing them but delivering them. And so we're giving him an opportunity to do that right now. And so beginning Sunday, that'll be his first opportunity. And then later at the end of the month and in January, there'll be other times that he'll be delivering a sermon instead of me. So just in case you're wondering, well, how come Pastor is just sitting there and Tom Miller is giving the sermon? That's the reason why. We're hoping that he will be ordained as an SMP pastor in our church, but first he has to go through these experiences. Yeah, an SMP pastor. So what is that? That's a specific ministry pastor. It's a pastor that serves under the supervision of a sole or head pastor. He cannot be called as a sole or head pastor. He has to work under the supervision of another. And usually there's a specific context to that. For Tom, the context isn't necessarily working with another language group or something like that. It is actually the fact that we're a congregation with a number of ministries and only one pastor, and so he's going to be kind of the educational and outreach pastor for us, and he's got so much experience with teaching that's kind of his niche. So he'll be able to help me out with that, and it'll be a blessing to our church. So that's the announcement. I mentioned Advent. The word Advent means the coming. So you might say the advent of air travel changed our nation. The coming of air travel changed our nation. Well, the advent of Jesus Christ changed our life entirely. Advent has two emotions connected with it. One is sorrow, kind of like Lent, in that we broke our relationship with God our Father through sin. And so we remember what it took to restore that relationship with it, which is Jesus, God, had to come down in human form, be a real human being, suffer a terrible punishment and death on our behalf, and then rise again to new life that we might have our relationship with God restored. The second part of that is the emotion of anticipation, like a child waiting to open their gifts on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning. We are waiting to open our gift of a restored relationship with God and a renewed body after death. The resurrection of the body is that big gift. So we celebrate Jesus Christ who came to give us that, and we have this anticipation of waiting the coming of our joy. We remember in this day that Christians, despite what's going on around us and the tribulations of this world, and especially, of course, the pandemic, that we have a sure and certain hope. We as Christians are guaranteed life everlasting. We are, in effect, through Jesus' work, immortal. These things cannot really slay us. All men will die. There's no escaping that. 100% of the people that are born are going to die. And but what makes us different is we don't really have to fear that like others, because we will have a resurrection, and then we will be perfected. There will be no pain or sorrow, and that's what we have to look forward to. So in this time, even when you're beset by all kinds of troubles, perhaps COVID, but perhaps a different death in the family, illness, financial woes, loneliness, or whatever, we have a promise from Jesus himself. He says to us, "Not a bird falls from the sky apart from the Father. Take heart, you are worth more than many birds." And so hold that tightly as we approach the day of Jesus' birth. Amen. We'll see you later.